If you want to understand what really drives the city forward, not just economically, but also culturally and relationally, you have to look at who's building the connections behind the scenes. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when leaders intentionally build ecosystems. Today, we're talking to someone that does exactly that. She's not just leading an organization, she's shaping the trajectory of a community. Betsy Cleveland is the president and CEO of Winter Haven Chamber of Commerce. So join us to talk about leadership and momentum and what it really takes to build a thriving city in 2026 and beyond. Betsy, welcome to Release the Kraken.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the moment that you really recognize that you didn't just want a career, want a job, you just wanted to make some impact in the community.
Yeah, sure. That probably started, Steve, a long time ago in my childhood. So growing up, my mother was very involved in the Chamber of Commerce,
Okay.
Main Street program. I grew up going to commission meetings all the
Oh,
time.
wow.
Pretty much anything with the city we were probably involved in. So having said that, I think when I held my job at the chamber, Haines City Chamber, now Northeast Polk, I think it was fairly quick into that role. I ran the chamber for 8 years that I realized that all of that experience in my childhood and watching the differences, because you could tell, watching the differences was made then. It clicked there in that role that this is the perfect job for me to make a difference. And this is more of a life than a career because
Right.
I love people. I love relationships. So it's something I was naturally good at.
Yeah.
So there, I pretty much knew that
Yeah.
was a life.
Yeah. So that's when you really knew that community is where you belong
Yes.
and trying to help nurture those relationships between people and business between business
Mhm.
and business between city. And yeah, so that's fantastic. So what's one leadership lesson from your early career that really shapes how you operate today?
Learning to build solid, meaningful relationships. Don't burn any bridges if you can help it, because you never know
Yeah.
down the road and your next career or the one after, wherever you may land, that certain people may pop back up in your life. So, as a leader, grow healthy relationships,
Yeah.
maintain healthy relationships of all different types of people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. After you and I realizing we knew each other many, many years ago.
Right. So
we're like,
thankfully I didn't make you mad way back 25 years ago.
It's fantastic how the world comes back around.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a small world when you think about it. You talk to somebody and you're like, oh, yeah, I know them.
Mm-hmm.
Or, somebody popped up on TikTok and they happen to know my cousin up in Greenville, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's no other way I would have found out about this person. It just happenstance that they popped up in my TikTok feed.
Which is also why you are kind and pleasant when you're
Right.
referring about other people, because you don't know who's connected
You don't
to
know
someone
who
else.
knows who.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you ask questions about somebody that may be known, make sure you're very strategic about
Yes.
how you place those
Yes.
questions. So what is something that you believed about leadership early on that has completely changed in your mind?
Probably my own leadership style. When you were younger, starting out in your career, I think you are under the impression that to lead, you have to be somewhat elusive to your staff, or elevate yourself above,
Right.
for respectful reasons
Right.
and whatever. So I learned very quickly on that you can be a leader, but you also need to be humble. You also know how to get down in the trenches with your staff. You have to be able to put yourself alongside them and work
Yeah.
with them
Yeah.
and not just above them.
Yeah.
So not commanding from top down.
Yeah.
So I think that's changed over the years, just having different positions. And I've had a staff under me from 2 to 30 at a time, now back to 5.
Yeah.
So it,
Yeah.
yeah, it just,
I've
just,
found too that, those that, see their leader willing to just jump right in and do whatever, will do almost anything for you,
absolutely.
to ensure that you're successful so their success can continue. So I think that's a pretty interesting way of thinking. And I've always thought of myself as a servant leader. I'm there to help my people and help them grow and help them succeed and hopefully help them move on past the job that they're in. So I think that's, exactly as you said, be willing to get down in the trenches and dig in with your people.
Yeah, and respect their opinion. So
Yeah.
I have been hired to be the leader of this organization, but I will never say I'm the smartest person in the room. I probably just have the most experience running a
Right.
chamber, but I value staff's opinion and people around me opinion. So
And I
yeah,
think too, as we get older, the younger generation coming in, they've got totally different ideas about, how the newer generations
absolutely.
that we need to serve want to be
And we need to
served.
listen. We need to
Right.
listen.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not an immediate implementation of those
Mhm.
things, but it's an evolution of how we serve our community, and things change very, very quickly. I mean, especially in the technology business,
Yeah.
it changes all the time. And it's pretty smart to listen to the young folks
You
coming up.
absolutely have to. And pivot, right? What is that? You
Pivot.
got to pivot.
Yeah,
You
pivot.
have to
Yeah.
learn to pivot.
Ross said so.
Ross did say so. We're in the couch up the stairs. Yes. So we just dated ourselves, but that's okay. But yeah, so being able to learn. And so certainly as a leader, your job learning never ceases,
Yeah.
right? You always need to be willing to add to your toolkit.
Right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Another thing, I think chambers of commerce are probably always misunderstood what they really are for. What is something that people really misunderstand about what the Chamber of Commerce is here for and what they do?
Yeah. So I think chambers of commerce have evolved over the decades. Obviously, if you think back, even when ours started historically in 1923, there's a picture right out there. It was predominantly older white men, right? It was in business.
Right.
And so over the decades, I think we shied away from that, but I think sometimes people still look at the Chamber of Commerce as almost a elusive club, an elite club,
Right.
for only the who are you and the to-dos, but that is not the case anymore. I mean,
Right.
if you look and you're a member, if you look at our membership rolls, over 700, we have from the right small
Solo
entrepreneurs, the
founders.
solo
Yep.
founders, to the big healthcare industries, energy industries. And we really are a place that welcomes all. We have something for everyone. So I think by now the chambers have gotten more of a warmth feeling in the communities, not so elusive. And I just want to make sure that we maintain that trajectory and there's something here for everyone.
Right.
It's not an exclusive club.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
And, my experience with the chamber over the past couple of years has been that it's a relationship building entity that really helps. Hey, you need to know this person and you need to know this person, and let's get the entire community involved and really um, build an ecosystem of warmth,
Mhm.
really, in the city of Winter Haven.
Yeah, and I think I mean, you were a new member to this chamber, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah.
And so I would hope when you joined that you felt that there was just so many different types of peoples and businesses and you were embraced. And you've made great friends. I've
Yep.
seen it. I've seen relationships
Yeah.
blossom, which
Absolutely.
is at the end of the day, um, you know, as a chamber, we want to get business through your doors. We want you to get clients and business. We can guide people there. We can't guarantee, but what we can guarantee, if you do show up to the chamber and you put in just a little bit of effort,
Yeah.
right? That you will walk away and at the end you will have relationships, which you don't know where those relationships are going to take you or what benefit in your business or personal. it's
Right.
gonna bring you.
Absolutely. And I think those relationships, they may not, and maybe a lot of people think, well, I'm going to go to these networking events at the chamber and it's going to immediately translate into business. But as a founder myself,
Mhm.
I always strive to build business based on relationship, because those business relationships last much longer than transactional
Absolutely.
relationships. So I think that's, really at this point in time where the chamber really makes that difference, is it helps foster and grow relationships that last for a long, long time.
Forever. Because
Yeah.
you may not need a roofer right now, but a
Right.
year from now you might.
And you
And you're
remember
going to
that
remember
name.
Joe's Roofing.
Right.
Not a true member. Um,
Well,
disclaimer.
yeah, that's
Uh,
represented by a fake actor, not a real one.
but so you will remember, and if you have a relationship with Joe and
Right.
in his roofing company, then you're most likely going to go to Joe.
Absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, why do you think chambers still matter in a digital time?
Oh,
Do you think it's really that physical, the real person to person connection
It-
really still matters to
it
so many
matters,
people?
and it will always matter.
Right.
Nothing will ever replace eye to eye, person to person
Yeah.
networking. Never.
I agree with that. I have, as a young business, not a young person, guys, but young business, I have a huge problem with making cold calls to
Mhm.
potential clients. I feel like it's impersonal and it's just not fitting of the type of relationship I want to build. But if I can meet somebody out and about, or at a chamber event, or at, something, leadership class, and definitely will want to talk more about that in a little bit, but those relationships really make the difference. You can make 1,000 phone calls to 1,000 different prospects, but if you go and you talk to 10 people and they really get to understand who you are,
Right.
I think that's kind of what the chamber is about, is people get to see the real you. If you let the real you show.
If you're authentic, and
Right.
people can usually tell
Yeah.
between someone who's being authentic and not.
Absolutely.
But you have to use those. I mean, there's so many events. Listen, you pay for a year, you pay for your membership, which runs 12 months, right?
Right.
If you absolutely work your chamber membership and you show up to events, there's no doubt in my mind at the end of that term,
Yeah.
you're going to walk away with 15, 20 new relationships.
Right. And you may not see an immediate
Mhm.
financial ROI, but in your heart, there's a huge ROI, and that translates to more down the road. So it's been a good experience for me, for sure. So are we underestimating the role that local leadership plays in economic growth?
Are you underestimating the role? No.
I think people in general.
Yeah, no, also leadership is about, so if you just step out of my role and you transition, I mean, we are not the economic development
Right.
engine, right? Our EDC is in
Yep.
our city, but we partner with them. But even in their roles, if I think about Bruce Lyon or T. Michael, I mean, they are absolutely leaders. I mean, I think at the core of it, where they're doing chamber economic development, you, as a leader, you have to be able to build relationships again.
Right.
You have to be approachable. You have to be able to sit down the table. Everyone's comfortable, talk. And then, you build a relationship, and it may not pay off right now. And it may be years down the road.
Right.
Well, we all know with economic development, that takes some time, right? The
Right.
project could take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years
Absolutely.
or more. But I guarantee you at some point in time, Bruce or T. Michael has established a relationship, or the department in the city, which probably Eric, not T. But anywho, yeah. And again, if you're not a good leader, a solid leader, and you're, do not have a good reputation, they're not even going to sit down with you.
Yeah.
Probably not. So
I agree.
absolutely, being a solid leader, well respected in your industry and the surrounding community, is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So, we've talked a lot about what the chamber is, and, what a lot of people may see in the social media,
Mhm.
is the ribbon cuttings and the networking breakfasts and stuff like that. But what do people that only see that, what are they missing?
Again, the person to person, just
Yeah.
making true, authentic relationships. So, when we talk about chamber, Steve, there's 2 things we can say, right? We can say the networking, the relationship part.
Right.
So when you talked about the social media aspect of it, that's kind of a different thing on the chamber. That's a more impersonal touch, right? The
Right.
socials. But if you join the chamber and you pay your base membership, if nothing else, if you don't show up to any chamber event to meet someone in person,
Right.
you still are going to know what's going on.
Right.
You know, through everything social. You got your marketing component. We are a marketing arm for you, not your marketing
Right,
department for our
right.
members, but we are definitely an extension. So, you know, you could work us in that way. You know, you're listed for 12 months on the directory. It has hits. We can give you number of hits and data behind it, click throughs. So even if you do not want to build any relationships and you just want exposure, you want your name in a directory and you want,
Yeah.
you know, that ribbon cutting picture, we can do that as
Yeah.
well. I highly encourage relationships, but then
Absolutely.
we do realize that some people, some businesses are smaller staffed and they can't make events, right? Honestly, you would understand that. So, and that's okay. So use us where you can.
Right.
Send us your information. Let us do a little work for you on
Yeah.
that end. And I said that remember that we're here. I think a lot of our chamber members they pay. We're glad to have them a member. They go on about their lives and may forget that we're here sometimes. So
Yeah.
please, I beg of you, please send in your information if you are a chamber member and let us promote for you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times too, you know, companies, maybe long-term members, they just renew the.
They do. They're supporting
Yeah.
in their mind and heart. They're supporting the community.
Right.
So we certainly have those who've been members 40, 50 years and they don't ask anything of us.
Yeah.
We'll check in periodically and they're just happy to support because they know that yes, it's supporting fellow businesses.
Right.
But think of the things we do in the community. Community Fest coming up next weekend.
Right.
It's not just a chamber member event. It's for the whole community
Yeah.
and the county. So
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
So let's talk a little bit about the leadership class program because it's near and dear to my heart and yours as well. Is leadership development, and we talked a little bit about it, is it economic development or is it people development?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, I think that the leadership class and leadership development programs like Endeavor Serves and things like that really help lift the entire community up. Teaching people how to support nonprofits and support each other in business and how our government works and all that is some fantastic stuff. So, you know, if you guys are interested in learning more about government or, you know, leadership in general and making some relationships that are just absolutely phenomenal and will last the rest of your life, hit the chamber up about next year's leadership class. You can't have this one. This year's mine. But next year it's going to be a good one again.
What we say, so it'll be class 46
next year.
But it's this year technically because we'll
Right,
kick off.
right.
Yeah, we'll kick off the orientation in September.
Right.
So my application process will open up May. I'm even like May. So yeah. So those of you who don't know, leadership. Winter Haven, Steve's in class 45. Obviously, it's been
Best
going a long
class
time.
ever.
Best class ever. They will each say that. It is basically an 8-month program where one day a month you schedule your day. You have the schedule. You'll come to the chamber, hop on a bus. We'll go do our excursions. Each day is themed. We have Education Day, Tourism Day, Local Government Day. We go to Tallahassee, City Winter Haven Day. So that is a surefire way to do two things at one time. Learn more about your community and businesses there.
Right.
The presidents and CEOs are taking time out of their day to greet us, talk to us, answer questions, give us tours behind the scenes.
Yep.
And then you're with the same group of people, usually from 20 to 25 for that whole extended period of time. So, you know, you can't help but grow your network and be close. I was in leadership Polk, which is the next step. You've heard me talk about it through Polk Vision. I think there may be 20 something class now. Anyway, I was class 7 back in the beginning and I still have meaningful relationships from that class.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's absolutely a blast. So, you know, you guys check it out and get on the list.
Yeah.
You know, it's competitive to get
It
in
is.
because there are a lot of people that want to do it. So get in early as soon as, you know, you hear about it. I'll post it on my socials and the chamber will have it on theirs as well. But it's a blast and we have a lot of fun and we learn a lot of stuff and it's a really good time. So why should our local business leaders care about investing in the leadership programs and getting their up and coming leaders into these programs?
Yeah, because automatically it's going to give exposure to the company
Right.
and to their employee who they choose to put
Yep.
through. So that employee, if they're going through leadership, just like you said, they're probably up and coming, either leaders in their organization already or up and coming leaders in their bosses see potential, right?
Right.
So you're going to get that network grown, 20 to 25 people. Each business we go in, each stop we do, hopefully you're making connections with that business.
Right.
Some may be beneficial, some not, but again, you never know. You
Right.
never know. So it is just going to tell them more about their community. Even though I'm from Polk County my whole life, we've made stops that I've never been inside. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
you think you know everything about your community, but I guarantee you,
Yeah.
you will learn something new.
Yeah.
in these,
For one that I had, I've heard the name S&S Designs,
Oh yeah.
but never realized that they were such a huge producer of
Universal and
Universal
Ron John Surf
t-shirts.
Shop.
Yeah.
And absolutely.
I had
yeah.
no idea that, that it was that large of a, facility here in Polk
Mm.
County. I've definitely heard the name, but never realized there were, that many connections
Just tucked
to,
away back
yeah,
there. No one would ever know it's there.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So what do you think happens when a city really stops promoting those leadership programs and developing its leaders? Do they go away? Do they go somewhere else? Do they leave our wonderful city? And
I think so. I think so. I mean, because I think by nature, we crave relationships. We're relational, most
yeah,
of us. And that support system that comes with relationships. I think if municipalities do not continue to grow or invest in their chambers or Main Street programs or their economic development councils, those are all really important components.
right,
And you lose something. You lose an arm, a spoke off the wheel, per se.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I agree. I think as you've seen, what we're trying to do with Winter Haven Tech
Mhm.
Council and really build that microeconomy around technology in Winter Haven and Polk County as a whole.
Mhm.
If we don't develop business and educational programs for the kids that are coming out of schools, they're going to leave. And we're losing some pretty great assets
Yeah.
by letting them, even if they do go to school here, if we don't build the business to support those graduates,
Mhm.
then they're gone.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't ever come back.
They don't.
Sometimes they do come back to Polk County, but we want to keep them here. And I think that's part of the goal of leadership programs and tech councils and economic development
And the
councils. And
yeah, because we absolutely so we've been talking about this for decades, and so back in the 80s, 90s, 2000, it was
that was
pretty
not
much.
decades ago, Betsy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was- they would a lot of people would leave, and we
Right.
were seeing that trend. Now can we compete with still the cities that have all the nightlife for the so that's part of
Right.
it too, right? As we grow, there's growing pains in Winter Haven. Growth is more traffic and
Right.
more homes and everything, but to be able to retain the young people and the young professionals, we have to have things to eat and shop and
Right.
nightlife for them, right? I
Right.
think our downtown's doing a great job. We're getting there.
Yeah.
So it's not just about having the jobs here to pay them well, right? So we need
They got to
Polk
have
County
something
jobs.
to do.
Yep, they got to have something to do as they're
Yeah.
starting their family. They're young and then they're starting their families.
Right.
So I think Winter Haven right now, we're very family friendly, right? There's
Yeah.
plenty. And I think we're getting there with the young.
Yeah.
I see, downtown it happening a lot at night, but, it's just so many different components. I think we are so much better than in the past bringing people back because we are growing.
Yeah.
But then sometimes because we are growing,
It pushes some people away.
it does. So,
So it's a balance, I
it
think.
is a
But
nice balance.
I think, Winter Haven has a good balance of we're developing leadership. We've got companies that are developing lifestyle
Mm.
in the downtown area. We're getting more restaurants. We're, having more entertainment venues, and we've got Legoland just outside of, on the boulevard, and we've got some fantastic things coming. And we're building tech companies here, and we're building educational systems that can funnel into those tech companies. And I think we've just got some fantastic stuff coming to Winter Haven and the areas around it.
We do, but not without our challenges. So
Right.
so many people have asked this. I think it's a really kind of a little bit of a difficult road we have ahead of us in knowing what jobs to have here
Mm.
for the graduates and the because of AI. You could probably
Right.
agree. So the discussion now is with AI now on the forefront and how quickly it's changing. Um, what jobs, what careers will it really affect? So then here's your whole workforce thing. Like,
Right.
what are we telling the students to
Mhm.
go for this? What's going to be important in their future? We're not sure yet,
Yeah, we're
right?
not.
So it's
Yeah. And I think that's
there's-
part of too how we tie all the chamber and tech council and in with connected polk and with the colleges and universities, and we gather all the data that we can to understand what jobs may be replaceable by
Mhm.
AI, and we begin now to reskill the people that maybe don't have the skills that are still in the time frame that they need to continue working.
Yeah,
So we're looking at how we can build, not full degree plans, but
lots of
corporate
certifications or
programs and
work programs. Yeah,
certifications and upskilling programs and things like that. So,
as long
I
as we
think
all
we stay ahead of that
and collaborate.
and
We
yeah,
all have
and
to come to the
we'll
table and
stop
collaborate.
and collaborate and listen. And then,
That's a song. Okay, I went through my head too. Sorry.
yeah,
The 90s sneaking up on
yeah,
us again. Okay.
yeah, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
What a time.
It's funny, both our minds went there.
Yeah. So what's exciting you most about Winter Haven? What's coming and what do you see that's really exciting?
So I think we're still capitalizing on our location between Orlando and Tampa.
Right.
I think we have growth to do, but I feel like Winter Haven's a little different than Northeast Polk, right?
Mhm.
So there have a lot more land for growth there. We're a little bit more land locked in.
Yep.
But I'm really proud. I know it is stressful for our people who've been here a long time, our residents and the growth. I know
Yeah.
trust me. I know. But I'm so proud of us. I think that we've grown as smartly as we can.
Yeah.
Of course, we're behind the game on infrastructure and roads and water. And I mean, that's not my department.
Yeah.
I feel like we're never,
I think
never,
we're
never going to be there.
always lagging in those
Yeah.
areas a little bit because it's hard to I think judge for the influx of people, and especially when other areas of the country are doing such a crazy job with
Mhm.
their taxes and their policies. People want the heck out of there.
Oh, but listen, I mean, if you're following our session now, we have the property tax
Yes.
that could make it to the ballot.
Yeah.
And so, if you think about that, we already are very appealing. We have no state tax. Taxes are fairly low, beautiful,
Possibly
year-round, beautiful weather.
Huge changes to property taxes.
And if that goes away, I mean, okay, now we're very, very, very appealing. And so I
Yes.
think that's going to affect us greatly too. We're going to see a
Yeah.
lot more growth. But I have to trust in our government, our city, and our county. I mean, I know it's not a perfect system, and not everyone agrees with all the choices made. But I think they're there for a reason. We have to grow smartly. You have to
Right.
stay smart about it. You can't just deny all development. That's a
That's a
people
death
think
sentence.
people think that that the commissions can just deny, and they cannot.
Yeah.
If they hit certain requirements, developers, so it's very it's not an easy yes no answer sometimes. But anyway, I think that we are still in that sweet spot. I think we have a lot of growth to go. But hopefully we will be controlled as much as we can.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of our city, and I think it is one of the best places. I mean, when we hear new residents come in and I meet with them, they really are pleased. I mean, we're talking about traffic and how they're like, what traffic? Depending on where they come from, right? This is no big deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think we have a lot to offer, and I'm very proud of our city.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where do you see the chamber in the next 5 years?
Oh goodness. Hopefully larger. right?
Yeah.
Always gold, more members. We'll be come upon, hopefully be accredited again by the
Okay.
U.S. Chamber of Commerce. We'll have gone through that process. I think we do that in 3 more years.
Okay.
So still growing the membership base, working on our retention on the back end, because it doesn't matter. You can get 500 new members a year if you lose 400 or whatnot,
Yeah.
right? That game.
Yeah.
So I think we need to work on that, continuing to offer value, stay relevant. Chambers for decades, we've been talking about this for over a decade. How do you stay relevant in the times of the social medias? People could do pretty much their own marketing
Right.
and all that. So my goal is just to be stronger and better and offer more. I
Right.
mean, what else can we do?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys have been a chamber member in the past, or you're, never been a chamber member, join up, hit the renew button, and don't play around.
Or Steve's gonna come get
That's
you.
I'm going to come and get you. So what drives you on days that are really tough? Because I know everybody has some tough days, but what keeps you looking forward to the next day and going? I know there are days when you just like,
There are, and I don't know if this is just comes with age or what, or probably because the world's just so crazy. But at the end of the day, if I've had a really bad day, there's worse out there. And
Yes.
honestly, I really kind of bring it back down. Let's be realistic. This is not a good day, but are your problems were they really that
Right.
bad, or just an inconvenience compared to what's going on in the world? So for me in my life in today's world, with all that's kind of how to scale it back in.
Yeah.
And probably nothing has happened that bad in my day that is that detrimental.
Absolutely.
If you just look around and see what else is
Right.
going on. So I just continue to be blessed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep living like that.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice. I kind of go so much over the years. Okay, good one. Know all your facts before you open your mouth.
That's a very good
I
one.
mean, because I think sometimes people have a lot of opinion out
Right.
there. And so this is something else, probably just with age, I've learned that unless I know for sure and I have some facts behind me, I'm not really one to just offer opinions just to hear myself or to be the
Right.
person in the room to be heard.
Yeah.
So that's very important, because I think now, hopefully, people are getting pretty good at fact checking. Hint, hint, please fact checked online stuff. But no, just you don't have to know. It's impossible to know about everything, right?
Yes.
So a great piece of advice someone gave me once, that you have your job, your career. Try to know enough about everything that involves in your world, in your daily world, in your career,
Right.
that you can talk
Right.
reasonably knowledgeable about
Yes.
it. So. And that's difficult to do sometimes, because as we get older, our brain gets full. So, sometimes you got to toss
Stuff
out some things to
leaking out
put
the
in new
ears.
things.
Yeah.
But-
And here's one thing I've learned in my business, because of the nature of my business. Most people don't want to hear me talk about the technology. They want me to talk about the outcomes that technology can
Mhm.
give them. So, be intentional about what you say.
Yes.
There are people that I've talked to before that, you'll ask them a question and it may take a minute for them to answer. They're not ignoring you and they're not dumb. They're being very intentional about what they're going to say back to you, because they know what they say can come back to them
Yeah.
at another time, or it may be an important topic and they want to give you the best answer they can
Yeah.
possibly give you. So
Nothing wrong with
that's-
that.
that's a
I admire the
fantastic-
long pauses sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It shows you they are being intentional with their answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, it's been a good time. Community doesn't build itself. It's built by people who decide to care about it. So Betsy, thank you for leading the chamber with intention and for helping shape Winter Haven and the future of our fantastic community. And to everyone listening, get involved. Leadership isn't someone else's job. It's everybody's job. So get involved and dig in. Thank you guys again. And this has been Release the Kraken.